What's going on, everybody? Welcome back to the channel. As you know, I'm Fielding Shredder, and today we're talking about front Kenda tires. Now, I went ahead and used my car as a guinea pig. I did some experimenting for you guys at home because I was wondering myself the difference between the 180 tread and the 300 tread and how that pertains to the front tire. So what I did is on Drift Week 2, which we just came back from, I actually put a 180 tread on the front left and a 300 tread on the front right. And then I did hundreds of laps and thousands of street miles so I could wear them down, and these are the results. So I just wanted to share them with you and talk about kind of the differences. Now, first and foremost, this is not a normal setup, but what I'm trying to prove to everyone at home is there's not a gigantic or drastic change in the difference in a Kenda KR20A between the two tread patterns. Now, is there a difference? Of course, and the 180 treadwear being softer will translate to a little bit more grip. However, it's not so much like the numbers suggest, where it's half roughly of the softness or the tread life and double the grip. It's not like that, okay? It's maybe from my butt dyno, which is okay at best, maybe like 10% or so different. So small difference, which is actually a good thing. It allows you to kind of change the compounds just slightly and then not have a massive change in grip levels and wear levels as well. So this front left one here is a 180 treadwear. It's a 245/40. And I just wanted to see the tread across the face of the tire here. You can see the corner here, or the shoulder. It's fairly worn, and that is definitely a characteristic of drifting and all kinds of racing. You'll see that typically happen pretty often. Same with the inside here. You can see the inside's got a pretty good wear out of the corner or the shoulder here. But then you can see across the main tread block, it's actually not bad at all. We've got tons of tread depth. In fact, I have a digital tread depth gauge here. I'm gonna zero it out. And let's go ahead and take a measurement of this tread depth. All right, so roughly 5.1 millimeters, which is not bad. I think new, they're probably close to around 7 millimeters. I can't recall off the top of my head, but obviously worn a little bit, but not completely smoked. And then of course the corners are pretty worn out. All right, now let's go take a look at the other side and see the difference. So this is the 300 treadwear. And as you can see, the shoulders are a little bit less worn, okay? Especially on the inside here. Now that is slightly a factor of alignment and some other things like the shape of the course. Some courses have a little bit more of a left-hand dominant ratio, or some have more of a right-hand dominant. And basically what we're trying to figure out is just kind of the difference. So you can see that there is definitely more tread left on both the inner and the outer shoulder. And that shoulder is gonna be, what wears out quicker than anything. But if we look here in the middle, let me zero this out again. Let's see how much tread is in the middle. So roughly exactly the same, 5.2 millimeters. So that shows us that, that didn't really wear out quicker. So that shows us that it didn't really wear out quicker, at least in terms of the tread block. It did, however, hold up to the abuse on the shoulders a little bit nicer, which is kind of cool. So you guys can take this information and apply it to your setup at home. If you don't need a little bit of extra front grip, or you're not running kind of a drastic size difference in the front to rear, then I always personally recommend a more balanced setup. Try and run the same tire front and rear, the same tread pattern, the same brand. If you got a lot more power, you might want a bigger tire in the rear, so you might want to offset that with a little bit grippier front. But I like a balanced setup, and that's what I always try and recommend. So I would recommend the same brand tire, maybe the same tread pattern or tread softness, and then of course the same size if you can get away with it. In my car, I run a 245/40 front KR20A with a 180 tread usually, except when I'm experimenting. And then in the rear, I run the 285 KR20A in a 300 treadwear. So significantly wider, but lower tread softness. So I think the difference in the 245/180 and the 285/300 is nearly the same grip level, which again gives me a nice balanced setup. So we've learned a lot on the difference here. Hopefully you can apply this to your setup at home and just kind of take this information and do with it what you will. But yeah, I appreciate you guys checking out the channel, checking out what we've got going on, and I will continue to experiment with my car and try and bring you as much information about these tires that I love so much. And again, take this info and apply it to your setup at home. Maybe you don't need 180s up front. Maybe you want a little bit more longevity, or maybe your tire size can be a square or nearly square setup, so you don't need that change in grip. And again, you'll get a little longer tire life out of the 300s up front. Now in terms of the driving for me, I didn't even notice the difference in the left and right being slightly different. I had no idea. In fact, I forgot that I even did this about halfway through Drift Week. And then when I got home and I started looking at everything, I realized, oh yeah, I forgot I did the 2 different tires. So yeah, it's pretty cool to experiment like this, and I hope that information was helpful. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you guys in the next one.